So moving on to number two, when you start bidding a whole lot, and you push too hard, the real world consequences of that is you run out of budget really quick. You realize that, wow, because I'm showing so high, I'm getting clicks at an astonishingly high rate, and I'm only showing up a tenth of the time. I'm only showing up 20% of the time because I can't afford to pay at this rate per click, and my budget doesn't allow for that. I run out of budget very quickly. So real world consequences here is maybe you've chosen the right keyword, but your bids are too high for the budget that you have. There's a balance that you have to make. Real world management means that you have to constantly adjust and find the right balance. And then you might have to readjust when you lower the budget or raise the budget. You might need to readjust for that because there's always seasonality changes. Competitors come and go. It's never a static thing. So that's why ongoing management is.
Now, as much as we want it to be, it never is.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem here. If you really think through what being number one all the time can do to your market share and how many leads you can get or sales you can get overall, sure. You're number one all the time. You have a fixed budget. You have a high cost per click because you're number one all the time. Let's say for that budget, you get 100 clicks. Okay. But then, so you get 100 clicks and your market share is what it is. But then you lower your bids, you show up number one 80% of the time. Again, pretty aggressive, but you're still getting a lower cost per click. You get 140 clicks all of a sudden. That's more leads that come in. That's more business. And the column you love, Chris, impression share, you actually can get a larger impression share. You're showing up more often. And that's not just important for the more clicks you get, but I think it's good to be seen. And I think if more people in this market, your keywords, your location, your schedule, your impression share, your market share, your market, the more people that can see you and at least see your ad, maybe they don't click on it at that second, but there's something about being familiar. And maybe next time they do a search, your click-through rate would actually be higher than it would be if they had never seen you. So I think a big consequence of not just of showing up number one all the time, not just the higher cost per lead and fewer clicks, but that lower shrimpy, pathetic market share. And if you're dealing with someone, little management tip out there, who's got one of these vanity, juvenile ego issues, which, what's that say about business? Because those are all the successful people, including yours truly. I'm working on everything, Chris. I'm trying to be more balanced and more mature, but I've been known to be egotistical. I've been known to be juvenile, and I've been known to be forgetful because I forgot what the last one was, but successful as well, the fourth one. But the thing is, if you want to play to that ego, you tell them, look, our absolute top impression share or percentage, I should say, is 96% or over 95%, over 90%, 100%. But look at your impression share. It's 17%. You show up 1.7 times out of 10. You're a pathetic, overweight loser. Give me more money. I work for you. I mean, how would that conversation go?
Yeah, sounds great.
But you can play to that ego in a thoughtful way, as opposed to the way I just did, and get them to focus not just on absolute top percentage, but you tap that mic. I'm gonna hurt you, Chris. All right. I was gonna say something else, but I don't want to be saying that. Chris, don't you think this is a valid strategy if someone's caught up on the number one position? It can play to that ego part of the mind. Look at your shrimpy little market share. It's pathetic. 1.7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I think as we've described, it is a absolute detriment to the success of the campaign, because if someone's decided that they want to show first position, that they want to command the market, that they want to do this, it's very likely that they've also picked bad keywords because they think that everyone wants to buy from them. They think that every keyword's a great keyword. How could anyone come to my website and not buy this thing? My site looks great. I spent $30,000 on it. I mean, this is the best site ever. Look at it, so much. These assumptions that you have the best solution and it should always be, you that's at the top. You're not thinking optimization. You're not thinking about how to improve and how to, get more out of the campaign, because that's not real world. That's not real world. So I guess in the end, the whole topic of the podcast, how to get to the top of Google Ads, I guess what we're saying is, should you really be there? Is that the best place to be?